we missing anyone, Justin?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Perfect.
Yeah, Yannick was supposed to be the 5th, but I think something came up and he's not going to be able to make it. So,
so I'm gonna leave it up to Ahmad if he wants to. He can pitch.
I'm just gonna observe.
Yeah.
I haven't been. I didn't prepare.
No worries. All right,
the
guys.
odds are better now.
There we go. I'm going to introduce it, but Justin's going to probably run most of it. I got triple booked, unfortunately, but welcome to our 4th winner takes all pitch event. The format is normally 5 startups pitch 3 investors. We have 1 late pitch judge. So we'll see how he makes out. He's on set, which is Rab. We have 4 pitch companies because we had a last minute conflict and dropout. So it's going to be 4 companies pitching 2 judges. And Justin will be the tiebreaker. So the format is that each of the companies will get a 1-minute pitch and between 3 to 5 minutes to answer each of the judges' questions. We can stretch it out because we're missing. And Justin, feel free to ask questions for clarification, since you might also be casting a tie-breaking vote if Rab can't get here on time. I'm going to hand it over to Justin if there's no questions. And he can indicate, number 1, do you want to introduce the judges, Justin, and then indicate what order the pitch companies are going in?
Yeah, just so that you guys are aware, I just pasted the pitch order in the chat. Yeah, so sorry, Anatoly. You're going to be spearheading it. And then judges, do you guys want to introduce yourself? Dan and Steve. Dan, go ahead.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Dan Burcaw, 4-time entrepreneur. Sold 2 companies, one to WPP, largest advertising holding company in the world, and the other to push to Oracle. And so excited to be here. Have a lot of experience in tech, SaaS, mobile, some angel investing, a little bit of real estate, which might be applicable here.
Great. Steve? Steve runs the Silicon Valley iLab. It's it's an awesome organization and platform to he helps early entrepreneurs from all different kinds of stages. So I would really encourage you guys to connect with him post event, as he's always willing to reach out and work with you guys after. So really cool, awesome opportunity. So the way this will work is there's going to be a 1-minute pitch for each of you, and then we'll go around with a 3-minute Q&A with the judges. And then there's going to be a final round where the judges will pick 2 out of the 4 for a more elongated Q&A session. And from that session, they will decide the final winner. So based off of the pitch order, Anatoly, you're up with best map.
So I can start?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get my timer going.
Okay.
When you're ready.
Okay, cool. Hi, my name is Anatoly. I'm a founder and CEO of BestMap. Imagine you've come to a new country or city you've never been to. You don't know anything about transport. You want to get around, you want to go to another city, and you use different apps in order to get an Uber or in order to open a bike or scooter in a new city. So the BestMap combines all transportation in one app, where you can buy tickets for urban mobility and for suburban mobility, to compare prices for bus, train, airplane. You can rent a car in the same app. So the future of mobility and travel apps will look like BestMap, because Uber and Lyft are looking for in this way as well. And that's why they have partnership with companies like us. And also Priceline is interested to give us data, because the future will go there. So at this moment, we collect data for 15,000 cities. And we have more than 300 partners. We just raised $300,000 and looking for $700,000 more in order to get more users and grow our company. Our team includes people who built profitable companies previously, also MBAs and one of the top developers in the world. And we are continuing growing with the headquarters in Silicon Valley. That's it.
Great. Thank you. Hey, Steve, let us know if you're able to get your mic through.
Okay,
but...
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. There we go. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Let me ask the question, Anatoly.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Just give me, what's the problem and what's the solution? Like 2 sentences each.
Yeah. So people use different apps, and on your phone, or probably all of us, we have 5+ mobility apps to buy tickets like Kayak and Google. What we do, we combine Kayak plus Google Maps plus rental cars in one app. You don't need to use different apps in order to open scooter like Bird, Lime, Scoot, and Azure. In order to buy a ticket for bus, train, airplane, you can do that in one app.
Okay, so basically you're putting Uber and Lyft in one app, plus electrical scooter rentals in a city in the same app, and Kayak for buying an airplane ticket in the same app. Is that correct?
Yes, we are an aggregator of all transportation in one app.
Okay. Do you have a slide deck?
Yeah, sure.
I was just curious why you didn't show it, but that would have been maybe helpful. But okay, I get you. So how much revenue do you have so far?
We make about $900 a month right now. Mostly those revenue comes from the rental cars, but in the future, we just finished integration of selling tickets for bus and train in 25 countries. So we'll get revenue from there, and also we will run subscription model and ads in the app between tickets.
Okay, what's your number one target country and your number two?
We are in San Francisco right now. We are focusing on New York and San Francisco for now, but we have data in 15,000 cities. I would say the next one will be Europe, because we have users there.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
we're out of time. Dan, questions?
Yeah, I mean, the one question I have is, Apple Maps, for example, is starting to incorporate buses, e-bikes, ride-hailing, incorporated into native maps. So, yeah, I guess they don't have airplanes and rental cars, but why couldn't they just add those and then that's your business?
So there are different apps. We compete with other companies like Omeo, Wander, who sells just tickets, and so there are different companies. Apple Maps focuses on urban mobility. Wander and Kayak on suburban mobility. We focus on all of them in one because the future will look like that, and everybody in the industry understand it. Of course, they can add it as anybody on the market, but it will be difficult for them to collect this data because we have on the backend platform. Of course, it will take them time to develop a platform that we develop, but we have one of the top developers in the world, literally, who runs many competitions and build this platform that collects a lot of data at this moment. Yeah.
So is it an affiliate-based model? Is that where your revenue is coming from?
The revenue is coming from affiliates model as well as will come from advertisement between tickets and a subscription model. We earn money the same way as, so if you look in the Google Maps or Apple Maps, they don't make money except because they focus on businesses, right? They make money from businesses. We will make money from partners because we will provide them users for companies like Lime and Bird and Uber and others. In the future, then we will have more users who will use our app. For now, we will just make money the same way as a Kayak does from affiliate programs and by running ads. Yeah.
Okay, we're out of time. Thanks, Anatoly. Next up, we have Max, Sports Trace.
Justin, I can share my screen, right?
Sorry, I don't think we're gonna let that because we didn't let Anatoly. Just to be fair for everyone.
I think it's not needed, and it just doesn't make sense to share the deck because it's not enough.
Yeah. Okay, then you can share for a minute, Max.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure. Whatever works for y'all. I'll do it. So hi, my name is Max, CEO and co-founder of Sports Trace, and I'd like to introduce you to an athlete, Steve. Steve has aspired to play at the highest levels of baseball his entire life, and he knows that when the scouts are watching, he absolutely has to perform his best, knock it out of the park. However, how does Steve achieve that without excessive resources and constant interaction with coaches? Enter Sports Trace. As we like to say, use your phone and we do the rest. We turn game and practice video into ways for athletes to train smarter. The idea is simple. You upload your videos, we recognize that video, we analyze it in 3D from 2D cell phone video, and we provide back more than just data, but recommendations, links on how Steve can improve, drills for how he can get better, and products that'll improve his form and technique. Our team, myself and Alex Gardner, we have a background in sports. As a softball coach at Syracuse University, Alex played golf in college, and we're former Microsoft. We feel like we're extremely well positioned to solve problems in sports and large data computer vision problems. And the traction that we've achieved, not just in baseball, but in softball, golf, tennis, and even pilots in the Premier League with soccer, have proven that this is an issue worth solving and that we're the ones that can solve it. So help us measure what matters at Sports Trace. Thanks, and I look forward to your questions.
Thanks, Max.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dan, want to start with questions this time?
Who are your competitors?
We've seen Team Mustard recently. We were pitching with them at the MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference. I've talked to some folks at ProPlay AI that believe they're doing some similar things. We're in more sports than they are right now. But again, I haven't seen their apps publicly available in the App Store, so I can't say for certain. I just know based on the conversations that I've had with them.
What about a company like Huddle?
Huddle, we look at Huddle as almost complementary. We can automate some of the things that they do with video, and because we built this as a service, we feel that they may be a very interesting integration target for us.
And how do you make money?
Subscription model. How we have distributed through channels thus far has been primarily to teams and training facilities. That helps us with scale. The mobile application part of our service that we have is in support of those, I say, group aggregate type of distributions. At the training facility level, it's actually highly beneficial because we can actually incentivize those training facilities to help distribute the app on our behalf.
Steve?
Okay, what's the revenue so far?
So we're very low revenue. The contracts that we've signed with some college teams, those are converting this summer when they're done with their baseball season. And we just launched the mobile app a month ago.
Here's what's missing is all the money stuff. So how do you get paid? How much money per user, per customer, per club, or whatever? Just give us an idea.
We get paid through subscriptions. That money is $10.99 a month at over 80% margin. And who our target customers are, it's those athletes. I would say the competitive amateur athletes aspiring up through college to get to the professional level.
So about $11 a sports person per month.
Per month.
Okay,
yes.
Got it. Okay, and then how many users that are active right now?
300.
Okay, so how much are you raising?
We're looking to raise $750.
Okay, what are you going to do with it?
We're going to work on more product development and more of our outbound to the training facilities to help support that initiative to help distribute the application.
When you say distribute, are you talking about sales and marketing?
That's correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay, those are all my questions.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great.
It's an interesting idea, and your slides look nice, and the 2 and 3D image is impressive.
Thank you.
Great. Good timing. Bobby, you're up next.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. There are approximately 25 million real estate investors in the United States. And the problem we're solving is currently most of them are either tracking their assets on Excel or they're not tracking them at all. So what we are building is a platform that allows them to track in real time without a lot of data entry, all of their assets across the board. We are late beta, and we are already generating revenues. I'm also I'm an active investor myself, And in the San Francisco Bay Area, I've been running a real estate meetup with about 5,000 members in it. The platform was built not only on my experience and my co-founder's experience, who is also a technologist and a real estate investor, but also from a feedback from a lot of my users. So I can show you, we are live. This is where I track all my assets. We have about 250 active users in the platform. We have raised 600,000 in seed angel funding in a safe round. We're looking to raise 2 million. And the platform, like I said, it's late beta and it's live, but with 250 users in it. It's really simple. I'll show you what it does for a property. For example, this is one of my rentals. It tells me exactly how my property is performing. All my financials are in one place. All my transactions are in one place. All my reporting for tomorrow is tax day. With one click, I can produce a Schedule E for the property. I can store all my documents. I can search for my documents. I have a checklist. I have Plaid integration. So if I do, this is a real live account, and I have full Plaid integration. We are working with really smart programmers to do machine learning and bring in all the transactions to minimize the data entry. The goal is, the problem is it's like flying an airplane without the proper instrumentation panel visible to the pilot. We want to make these 25 million investors have all of their KPIs available to them in a very easy to use manner.
Thank you, Bobby. This time we'll have Steve going first. Steve, you have any questions?
Okay, Bobby, how do you get paid? What's the business model? How much do your investors pay to use this?
Yeah, so we'll have a freemium model. Right now it's going to be free, but when they start to have more than 10 assets and some advanced features in the platform, we'll start charging like $9 a month or something. But the main revenue we're built on 3 principles or 3 pillars: tracking, training meaning you become a better investor, and in my meetups for the past 10 years I've been providing training. So now we're going to scale that up and monetize it a little bit better. And then thirdly, on transactions. So I'm a licensed real estate agent and I'm a licensed loan mortgage officer. So when people have portfolios and they're looking to buy or sell their portfolios, or they're looking to acquire new assets, we can legally get paid, and we're going to have arrangements to get paid on transactions. So the bulk of the revenue is going to come from transactions.
Okay, so what do you see for a sales forecast, like by the end of this year and next year, the third year?
We're looking at this year, 2020, it's going to be very modest, maybe around $100,000. We're already at $20,000. And I'm working on some partnerships which will generate revenues for us. The second year, we hope to be around 10 million or so. And then the third year is when we really scale up. And then we can have all the engines firing, and we should be at around $50 million revenue mark.
Okay, so it really helps in a case like this, Bobby. Those numbers are not going to really go over very well with a lot of investors, because from 100K to 10 million is a huge jump, and then 50 million. So it's going to be, people are waiting to hear how you're going to make this huge leap. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but I'm saying people are going to want to hear that. This is where companies go to die, when they make leaps like this. So you need to say how you're going to do this in a convincing way. Not saying you can't, but you need to make that a lot more clear.
Sure.
Go ahead, Dan.
So you mentioned 250 users on the platform now. So what's the sweet spot of a user? Sort of how many properties are they managing using your platform?
Great question. So usually above 4 properties, excluding their primary home. So once they start getting to 4 properties or so, and the 25 million number is actually the number of users that have multiple properties outside of their primary home. So what we want to do is we want to encourage those users to start tracking it properly with minimal effort. And once they see their returns, then they get excited about new opportunities. And we'll be introducing through our partners new opportunities for them to invest in. So, but yes, usually around 4 is when they start feeling the pain point of tracking the numbers, and that's where we become very, we become the platform for them to track their assets.
And yet you're going to start charging at 10. So that sort of implies to me that you see the training and the transaction side of the business as the real money-making aspect versus the tracking. Is that right?
Correct.
Great. Thank you, Bobby. Okay. Last but not least, Chuck.
Cool. Can I just go ahead?
Yep. Go ahead.
Cool. What's up, y'all? I'm Chuk, a serial founder and ex-VC scout. One thing I recently learned through my time scouting is that due to the record high levels of capital being raised and deployed in early stage venture capital, there's an increased demand for funds to be able to discover startups outside of their existing networks and past investments. However, there's limited incentives for scouts who are aware of these kinds of deals to even share them with funds. And because of that, I started my company, HumbleGrant. We're a community-powered deal discovery engine for early-stage investors. Think of this kind of like an Instagram Explore page where investors are exposed to startups and get intros and insights on startups that we discover, while scouts get upside for finding those startups. What makes us unique is that we leverage the network effects of scouts to expose investors to startups before anyone has heard of them. We just are getting started now. We're literally actually a month old as of yesterday, and we're in the process of building our MVP. We've got 30 investors on our waitlist. We've got 13 scouts signed up for our beta, and a partner with Gen Z Scouts. We also received a 50K pre-seed investment, and our ask right now is just interest to investors so we can share what we're building and get some feedback. Thank you.
Go ahead, Dan.
So it was a little difficult to hear the audio. I think I saw from the materials you sent ahead of time. So your model is sort of paid scouts. Is that right? Scouts are getting paid?
Yep. So we're paying scouts through a subscription model where investors can actually subscribe to our platform, and then we pay out royalties to the scouts based on the volume of deal flow that they put on our platform. There are content creators, and then we pay them based on volume. And
so how are investors going to feel about this? I mean, really, especially, aren't you kind of catering to a less high quality investor?
Yep. So we are catering more towards like really micro funds and nano VCs, like those funds that are strapped for time. Because the biggest thing that we've gotten feedback on thus far is that we're helping them save time for reaching founders that they don't have access to, since they normally go to their existing networks or past investments to find investment opportunities, or just like outbound Crunchbase, AngelList, PitchBook searches. The idea with like scouts is that they are ideally know people within their local networks who are building things and can refer those folks via our platform. And let me know if like the audio is ever too hard to hear.
It's definitely hard to understand. I really couldn't get it, Chuck. This is Steve speaking. So once again, what's the industry? I don't understand anything that you said. So what's the industry? What's the customer? What's the problem? 1 or 2 sentences each.
Yep, industry is venture capital. The problem is that it's hard to discover deals in a very competitive market. And the solution is scouts who typically find deals before anyone else.
So in other words, you're getting scouts to find deals to invest in for the investors? Who's getting what here? Who's doing what to who?
So the investors are getting access to the startups who are building things. And the scouts.
So in other words, are you saying that you're going to go out with your scouts to find startups to take to venture capital?
Yeah.
Okay, and you want venture capital to pay you for those?
Yes.
Okay, and so what's the value add you're giving to the venture capital?
Saving them time.
Okay.
Saving them time, maximizing their reach.
Have you talked to venture capital about this?
Yes.
And what did they tell you?
they tell me that some of them are trying to set up scout programs, and through our platform, we are essentially getting scouts for them that source the deals that they want.
Is this in the U.S.?
It is in the United States.
How do you handle getting paid for securities and all that stuff?
I haven't actually, I didn't think about that side. We're really just
okay. You need to. Okay, so here's the deal. So I know a jillion investors and I know startups. I did 7 years of coaching, and I'm still coaching. In fact, I have a webinar tonight on how to pitch. But I can't get paid. I cannot get paid from a VC for taking them somebody because I don't have a securities license. So if I do this as a profession, I cannot be paid in the U.S. You can in other countries, but not in the U.S. without a securities license. You do not want to screw with the SEC. Now, if you're an amateur and you get some lead, that's a different deal. But you need to handle this issue because nobody can just go write you a check.
Gotcha.
Just so you guys know, don't screw with the SEC. They're more powerful than any other agency, man, and they definitely want to keep our stock market secure. So that's something you need to check out.
Thank you for that.
Most angels in Silicon Valley will know this because it's come up a lot of times.
Thank you, Chuck. So Dan and Steve, can you guys privately send me your top 3 in order, and we'll determine the final 2 to go into a little more of a deep dive to determine the winner.
So I'll take the second if I can to share with Bobby. So Bobby, I saw your slide deck that was sent out by Justin. And to everybody, there's 2 kinds of pitch decks, everybody. One is a brochure deck with lots of written data and paragraphs and sentences, and the other one's a presentation deck with just phrases and bullets and big fat font and so on. If you're presenting to a group like this, don't use a brochure deck. Use one with big highlights, fewer pictures, 1 or 2 pictures on a page. And when you have attraction, put it in big fat numbers. You don't want paragraphs and too much information. It's way too much information for a presentation. It's okay if you mail it out for somebody, but not for overhead presentation. Make sense, everybody?
Yep.
Very, very important because, guys, almost all of you work too hard when you're trying to sell on your slides. Less information on slides, and let people understand you at the beginning and go, wow, and don't dive down too deep and get people confused. What you want to do is get an appointment to get together with them. Okay, they're not going to write a check based on this meeting. You want to get together with them afterwards.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, the final 2 is going to be Max and Bobby. So to get this off, Max, you can start, and then can you just talk a little bit about what got you to start Sports Trace, and then Dan and Steve can ask you whatever questions they want in this next 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was the combination of all of my experience. So number one, no one was ever going to pay me to play baseball. And I wasn't curious why, I kind of knew why, but I always wondered like how I could have gotten better. And, that manifested itself in my coaching experience as well, because one-on-one, is not necessarily a scalable scenario. How can you scale that to a greater experience? I shared the same passion for both sports and technology with my co-founder. And obviously before leaving a job like Microsoft, which is a pretty decent place to work, we decided we had some real entrance criteria to actually start and incorporate last year, which was, can we get people to actually work with us? And we actually did. So Rice University Baseball and Stanford University Baseball said, yes, you guys are A-okay, let's help develop this idea. And since then, we've grown that cohort of individuals that'll help us.
Okay.
Great. Steve?
Well, I like this idea, and I like your background. I think in your pitch, you should tell people right off the bat, just say what you said, condense it, and that's important, okay? That's the human side. It tells why you're here and why you care.
That's great advice.
And the second thing is, how much are you raising again?
$750.
Okay, look, you guys, all of you, when you raise money, 2 or 3 of you said you're going to develop the product more. You guys, when you get money from angel investors, you need to be selling. Okay, the very first thing you're going to do is get customers, okay, not develop product, because that is the biggest fear that you'll keep developing forever, not sell. So you got to go, guys, you have to make a beeline to getting customers and revenue. Okay, so show how you're going to do that and reduce the risk. Doesn't mean you have to have all the money and make gigantic revenue, but you need to show that you can reach people and they're going to pay you.
Okay.
Okay, it's very
Thank
important.
you.
Great story, nice looking slides.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I just want to say, because I didn't show you slides and something else, and it was important for both of you. So I guess after the presentation, we have a little bit more time, I can share more about the app and slides. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Dan, any questions?
Yeah, Max, a couple questions.
Sure.
So it sounds like you are having some of the early traction with selling into sort of a group. So a team, a team, or a camp, basically, where there's clusters of players that you can sell to. Is that the kind of model forever, or eventually is there a kind of direct to athlete model where because all athletes are different. Some aren't serious about becoming the best, and some are. And I just am curious if you have a direct to athlete plan at some point.
Well, the app currently supports direct to athlete, although we haven't put an effort into marketing or pushing that to the athletes. We've used that again in support of the groups, as you'd said, Dan, the training facilities, the teams, and that helps with the intake for the video, and it helps with the individualized, personalized results. As a service, I mean, we started this with the idea that, hey, there's a lot of people with video. How can we help them continue to make money off that video in sports? And we pivoted quickly after talking to teams to say, how can we make that data that they already have understandable to the athletes? Because the filtration process between data collection, operational analysts, coaches to the athlete is deep, it is costly, it is time consuming, and frankly, I'm not sure they're getting the right information in the first place. We'd like to get there, but you're absolutely right. In these groups, we feel there's a lot more scale. And so, again, with the, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, so that gets to come at the second part of my question, which is you use the phrase intake for video. So what is the kind of friction point around, how, does the shot have to be set up in a certain way? Sort of how flexible is your video processing to kind of deal with the real world environment that we find these players in?
We have, I won't say we've fallen backwards into opportune scenarios, but with baseball, softball, and golf, also with tennis and some of the other initiatives that we've piloted, we have, because they do have those isolated scenarios where we have not always a guaranteed great shot, but definitely pointers on how to get good shots. And again, at the teams that are intaking this information and the training facilities that are set up to do that, we are, I won't say 100% guaranteed to get those shots, but we're in a much better position. Plus, we've also partnered with a video intake provider that covers a lot of the showcase Little League tournaments around the country, where we'll be providing this as a service to them, and they are guaranteeing the right shots.
And then final question is, how hard is it to add a new sport?
We can get it up and running in 2 weeks, but like I said, fell backwards into the sports we have, because that's my experience and my co-founder's experience. What we would want to do, like for instance, we're investigating cricket right now. We're using a local university to help us write the business and marketing plan there. And I have some great contacts. There were some folks that worked for me over there. So we're looking into experts that already have technology companies and have played the game there to help us establish, of the measurements we take, what matters in cricket. Great, then I can tell you consistency all day long.
And then, so final question, really for reals. Is there a certain sport or collection of sports that is not a good fit for the technology?
Swimming. They ask about it all the time. And I'm like, how do I get a camera? Maybe underwater, maybe above, but the side view just won't cut it with the refraction.
Awesome. Thank you, Max.
Thank you.
Bobby, take us away. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, what was the question there, Justin?
Oh, yeah. Just talk about why and why you started it, and maybe give us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is mainly technology. So I have one foot in technology, the other foot in real estate. I bought my first house when I was 24, so I got hooked on house hacking down in Riverside, California, as an immigrant. Anyway, long story, but I love technology and I love real estate. So, but 11 years ago, I got more active with buying real estate. And then that's when I formed my meetup group. We started with 3 people. Now it's 5,000 people. We meet twice a month now over Zoom. Before pandemic, we were meeting 4 or 5 times a month, but in person, I was packing the rooms. We had standing room only. We started in a small bar in Oakland and then grew into 4 cities. And now I plan to establish a nationwide network of meetups to drive more users to the platform. And I'm working on that marketing model. When I started acquiring real estate, I was like everybody else trying to track it on Excel. But once I got to like 7, 8 properties, and then the reminders, I had to build a system in Google Calendar for reminders to pay taxes, insurance, shop for insurance, et cetera, et cetera. When that problem arose, I was talking to other meetup members, other real estate investors, and they said, yes, they had the same problem. That's when the light went on. And 2 years ago, thanks to real estate, I was able to retire from my W-2. And I said, what's the problem? What's the big problem I want to solve? And the big problem I wanted to solve was make it easier for real estate investors to track the performance of their assets. They often, or they don't know how well their property is doing. They know that they've got a rental or they're an LP, but did it hit the numbers that they were expecting to hit? Did they build the equity that they were expecting to build? For most of these 25 million investors, the real estate investment is their biggest investment. It should be measured. It should be all available. It should be digitized. It should be all available to them at their fingertips online. So that's what caused me to develop this platform. But it was done after talking to many, many, many other investors.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Bobby. Dan, do you want to kick us off with the questions?
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I have some properties myself, as I mentioned. I don't know that, I don't have 10 properties, but I don't know that I personally feel a lot of pain around spreadsheet. So maybe that's because I'm not doing it right, so to speak, and that's maybe where a platform like yours could help me. But how does it turn into like Vicodin for me versus a vitamin, something that's good for me to take versus something like I need it? It's the fix.
Look, at the end of the day, it's about measuring the performance. It's about acquiring new assets. So there's a discovery aspect of it. Like when I have saved up enough money, where do I go and find new assets to invest in? And I mean, yes, because it's a slow moving process, a lot of people don't feel the pain right away, but the pain comes when you realize that many of your assets could have been performing much better, or you should have taken the refinancing sooner rather than later, or if we had made it easier for you to get a loan. So part of it is reducing the friction in the system to get things done. In fact, I'm talking to a very big mortgage company to streamline the process for refinancing through our platform or obtaining loans through our platform. We're going to be fully integrated with them. So Dan, look, I think it's kind of like maybe people don't know. This is a new category that we're establishing. People don't know things like why do I have late payment fees on my I forgot to file taxes. For example, I travel a lot, and I would come home and I would see that maybe I forgot to pay property taxes or something, or LLCs. That's another notorious one, especially in California, and I'm sure in many other states, where you need to file certain paperwork by a certain date because you own your assets, maybe in a trust or an LLC. So when these little pain points started to hit me, that's when I said it's also impacting a lot of other people. But a lot of other people just they go on about their business. But once they see the value of this platform and they can log in at any given time, I've actually done an experiment where somebody who was tracking the properties in our platform versus somebody who was not. The person who was not tracking the properties in the platform had approximately 6 months more of vacancy than the person who was tracking the properties in our platform, because our platform will tell you, hey, you got a problem here because there's you've had 1 month or 1.5 months of vacancy. You need to take some actions. So it's the net result is real dollars. And I think, and then of course, opportunities to invest again. So one of the things that I do is I'm always bringing vetted, highly qualified investment opportunities to my members. And I think,
Bobby?
Steve, yeah.
Sorry about that. We're going to get to Steve. Sorry to cut you short.
Thank you.
Bobby, I would recommend the following, since you're out raising money. Well, first of all, do you have other team members that have equity?
Yeah, so we're 2 co-founders.
Does the other person have significant equity in the company?
Yes.
Like more than 25%?
Yeah, we're equal partners.
Okay, all right. So you should say that. That's very important, okay, because you didn't come across before. Professional angels want to invest in teams, not one person. So you should make it clear. I would recommend. Second of all, you have an interesting thing. I get the need for this. So your revenue chart just really bothers me because you have almost nothing this year and so much next year. So I would recommend this to you because angels are going to look at this. So you really should get some revenue this year, and your $10 a month subscription is fantastic for people who have this problem. So you could just go get those customers and get them on the platform. If you wait to get everything perfect, it's going to kill you. So get people on this platform and show that they want this. That's your number one thing. So because that invites people to the other parts, in my opinion.
Yep.
Okay. So you got to get that thing out there and get that message going. And then the second part, adding to it from your training and your mortgage. I get all that, but your core product and the scalable thing is this system. So you should turn this thing on and get this thing moving. So it would be much more impressive if you said we had 500K this year. Okay.
Makes sense.
And then secondly, you guys, I want to urge all of you, don't get into the feature trap of you making all your fantastic products. Your job is to sell this thing and get customers and solve someone's real problem who's going to give you money. In the background, you should know 42% approximately of all startups die because the customers don't want to pay for what they have. And most professional investors know this. So what they're worried about is that's their very first thing, is that you're going to build something great and you're not going to know if anyone wants to buy it until way into the future. So you need to know that up front, okay? So the more you get around professional angel groups, the more this is going to come on you. And since Silicon Valley were filled with this has evolved. You may not hear this in other cities that are starting their angel network, but here, this is way evolved, and I'm sure it's getting evolved in Austin, Texas, and New York for sure. So you guys need to focus on this because you have to keep in mind, this is not VC money. This is a private check from somebody. That means they're going to talk to their spouse, and then they're going to sell probably some shares, and they're going to transfer the money in a way to send it to you. Before that happens, they're going to have second and third and fourth thoughts about this. Okay, it's their own money. So it's easy for you to say, but it's somebody else's check. And so you need to be clear about the psychology of where you're going. Okay. All right, you guys. So good concepts. Okay. Bobby, especially, I like it. You got to remember why vice president of sales and marketing make all the money they make, because it's a really hard thing.
Thank you. Dan and Steve, when you're ready, feel free to privately chat me your pick, and then we'll announce the winner. And then in the meantime, I will be sending a spreadsheet of all the contacts for everyone to get connected.
This was great, a lot of great feedback, and happy to be here. Thank you. Like these are some great pitches too. Yeah. Like I'm excited by the ideas that I saw today, and I'm really grateful for the feedback.
You guys, I put that invite out to Eventbrite, so I do my how to pitch workshops on Wednesday nights. So you guys are welcome to come. It's free, and you can bring. Actually, you could pitch tonight and then get on the hot seat, and then I'll do a critique of your system. Okay, we do this every Wednesday.
Okay, the results are in, and congratulations to Max of Sports Trace.
Well, thank you.
Good job,
Wow,
Max.
that's
Good job. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. There's some really great ideas here, so I appreciate it. Bobby, specifically, I've worked and done some work in regulated finance and mortgage. So if there's anything, there's a gentleman that sits next to me. I'll hit you up for that.
Okay.
Chuck, if there's some individuals like in VC that you'd like to talk to, I can absolutely hook you up there too. Anatoly, we can confer offline. I didn't quite get what was there, but I'm happy to open my network to anyone on this call. So thank you again for letting me participate. I appreciate it.
Yep. And likewise,
Appreciate
everybody.
that.
Yeah.
Like, definitely likewise. Thank you for that.
Of course.
All right.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming. And lastly, do the judges want to plug anything? I know Steve threw some links in the chat. What about you, Dan?
I don't need to plug anything per se, but if anybody's exploring subscription-based models, my company is trying to create a platform that really is around the intersection of solving subscriber or subscription fatigue. That's an end user problem, and brands have a churn problem, and where those things come together and get solved is by creating happy subscribers. So we're building a kind of a whole platform that helps generate more happy subscribers. So subscription-based model, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, actually for a few of you guys, I have some potential introductions that are relevant. So I'll reach out on that.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. And Dan would love to learn more about your platform. We are a subscription-based company as well. So maybe not now, but at some point, I'd love to explore that.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thanks, Justin, for organizing this.
Yeah, and the last thing I would want to bring up is with Founders Pack, we do weekly happy hours with founders and CEOs. So we'll be inviting you guys now, and feel free to join. We do it on this cool platform called AirMeet, kind of specifically made for happy hours. So it's a really cool opportunity to get connected to more like-minded people. And yeah, just like being around like-minded community, I know we all know, just elevates the performance and excitement and zeal in the all of us. So yeah, really great to be here, and thank you guys for all coming and sharing.
Perfect.
Likewise. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
All right.
Cheers.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye, everybody.